Hello transport nerds and fellow planners, and welcome back to Talking Planning. So today we're going to go and talk about a service change that happened nearly 7 months ago on the 29th of June 2020, back up in Queensland. So this might sound a little irrelevant, but cast your mind back to that point in time and see if you remember anything. The launch of a new service perhaps, a new operator, and we're going to have a quick look at that today with this handy piece of paper. And it's time to take a ride on board in this video. So come and join me for the journey. I didn't get to catch the 587 until late October last year, some months after the initial service launch. So let's talk a little bit more about the history of this bus route and Yarrabilba itself. So Yarrabilba was declared a priority development area back in October 2010 under the Economic Development Act of 2012, which came a little later. The Yarrabilba PDA development scheme commenced a year after it was declared. A PDA provides different planning processes and sometimes can expedite the assessment and approval processes. I could go on and on and on about this sort of thing, but for your sanity, that's probably best done in a different video altogether. So let's talk about the public transport around Yarrabilba over time. Since the start, services have been operated by Logan Coaches, but prior to the end of June 2020, they required a paper ticket to be purchased on board and there were fewer services. The route was also a little different, with some services starting at Beenleigh, some at Logan Hyperdome, and some continuing as far as Tamborine Village. There was also no integration with the TransLink network, which made any onward travel extra expensive. Today, the 587 service runs only between Loganleigh Station and Yarrabilba. Weekday services are hourly during peak periods and every 2 hours off peak. On Saturdays, there are buses every 2 hours, but running to a limited timetable, and there's no services on public holidays or Sundays. Before the TransLink takeover, the route was serviced by a mix of Logan Coaches low floors. There was also an electric bus trial on the route, using this Yutong E12, which I ended up catching back in late 2019. Today, the bus routes are generally serviced by an MAN 18320 with an MCV body, seen here before the TransLink takeover, and this King Long low floor which I caught on this trip. So let's get underway. Today's bus was built in 2019 and is a King Long 6125 CG. These King Long buses are imported from China and, like many import vehicles, use mainstream Western mechanicals wrapped up in a Chinese designed body. The mechanicals are decent, with a Euro 5 Cummins ISL producing 320 horsepower, 1350 Nm of torque, all delivered through a 6-speed ZF box, which makes for reasonable progress, so let's listen to how it all sounds. When it comes to this bus, let's go back to what I said in the Bus Week 2 review of the Bonlock City Star. The fit and finish, as well as the design and quality of other components, is behind the locally built competition. The appeal of this bus is the combination of a reliable suite of mechanicals at a low cost, which means that little things like the stop bells and trim panels are just going to look less attractive and feel less durable. The same is true for this King Long low floor, but there have been some better design decisions here than with the Bonlock that I caught back in Bundaberg. Firstly, Metro bench seats are significantly better than the buckets fitted on the Bonlock. They look fresher, they've got more padding, and I think they're going to last longer. The window line also seems a little better too, And as a neat touch from Logan Coaches, they've popped in a hand dispenser for hand sanitizer near the rear door. But in terms of trim panels, stop bells and other interior components, they're still a little behind our locally built products. But now that I'm getting close to Yarrabilba, let's jump off this bus and have a quick look around the city and take in the sights and grab a quick bakery snack. Right, so it's 23 minutes till my bus back should arrive here. So I just popped over to the Yarrabilba bakery and grabbed myself a Neenish tart. Haven't had one in a few months. Let's see if it's any good. That icing is very radiant, so let's see how it is. Honest assessment, it's alright. Bit too much cream, not quite enough jam, but for $2.10, hang on, let me grab that bag. For $2.10, absolutely brilliant value. So not bad. Given that during the middle of the day, this bus only operates every 2 hours, I've waited for this specific one to return, and you can get a better glimpse of it coming back around to the stop just in front of Coles. As we make our way out of Yarrabilba, you can see that the IGA complex on the opposite side of the road is located next to some mixed-use developments with vacant ground floor retail, of course, and some vacant development sites. Once you cross over the road, you're basically driving through bushland again along Waterford Tamborine Road, with a small number of stops along the way. But since it's basically the same way that we came into Yarrabilba, let's fast forward to the end of the run, where we wind through a bunch of housing areas of Logan Lee, which feature a mix of different architectural styles of low-density properties. Anyway, since we're now basically back at Logan Lee, I think it's time to say thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.